Hey everybody, welcome to Bourbon and Branding. I'm Jason.
I'm Dave.
This is Dave, and we...
I just said that.
That's true. I know. I don't know why I feel compelled every time to introduce you. But anyway, okay. That aside, my double introduction of Dave. We're drinking Willett Kentucky Straight Bourbon tonight. I'm very excited about it. This was a gift, and
let's be candid.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
This authenticity is a big deal.
Yes, this is take 3.
Why is this take 3?
Yeah, so apparently when you don't pay attention to how much battery life you have on your camera,
or the memory card in your
memory card,
sound,
or all the things that it takes to record a show.
All those things.
Yeah. So we did crack it on the first time. This is not our the initial first draw here, but we're still excited about it. We're still going to share it with you. And, let's dive in. So, the Willett Pot Still. I wish this was the first crack, but it is not.
It's a beautiful
Sadly,
thing. We're going to have to cherish that from memory.
This was a gift from my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. So you cannot buy Willett bourbon in Oregon. I don't know why. I was on Reddit, and somewhere like maybe 6-7 years ago, they stopped either shipping it to Oregon, or Oregon said, we don't want it. I'm not really sure. So they got this again in California. We're like right on the border. And so you could just drive across, grab some good stuff. And but anyway, they picked this up. My mother-in-law liked the shape of the bottle. She thought it was cool, so she grabbed it.
Attention to detail.
I know. Well, it's branding, right? I mean, it stood out on the shelf, and so she grabbed it, and I'm really glad she did, because
I love that about Willett. We talked about this before, and we've even just talked about this in general. But the shape of their bottle and the history, the heritage that they built up around the entire thing. I think you told me too that the gentleman who founded it, was it a coppersmith, or a
pewter?
Yeah, he worked with some fancy metal.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's just a huge craft history in the name.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and I got
I'm gonna
my
take
cheat
this
sheet
now.
here. Okay, that's fine. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, all right. It's crazy. So they can trace their name to 1684, like back in London. I mean,
Ancestry.com,
sure.
man.
I know. My uncle is pretty into that, so he's trying to, track our history. We're Italian, and so it's kind of fun but it doesn't go back to 16. We're like maybe 4 generations deep.
Yeah.
But 1684, that's a long time ago. I mean, that's crazy that you can trace your history that far back. The Willett Distillery, we'll get through the facts here, and then we're just going to drink and tell you what we think.
We're going to tell you, we're going to do, like we tell our kids, do the hard work up front.
Yeah, then you get
then you get to enjoy something.
Exactly. So Willett Distillery was founded in 1936. You know me and websites. The bar at the bottom is.
We don't need to talk about that.
Well, anyway, they have a great. Widow Jane, terrible. But the website is great. I know you don't like this word, but it's a very clean website. I know it's just simple. I don't know. It's nice. I like it. They do a good job of tracking their history. I don't know. Overall, it's a very nice aesthetic. It's very easy to navigate, and there's actually one on there, and we don't expect anybody to send us anything at this point in the state, but we can't get anything Willett here.
But if we had more Willett,
there's one called the Johnny Drum. and it's made by Willett. And the picture of it, the bottle alone, the branding, I want a bottle. Like I really
Just on that.
Just on that alone. I have no idea. It's like 50% alcohol, so it's not like a super hot one. But anyway, I really want to try it. According to this, it's on the nose, vanilla lemon cake. And then on the palate, caramel, vanilla, spices, and citrus. So kind of a pretty stock.
A good mix.
Yeah. So there you go.
Throw it away. Okay, so to the branding, to what I want to talk about. I love the history. I love that they brought in and found the importance of the craft and kind of brought that into the brand story that they wanted to tell, which is something that I find, oddly enough, is missing more and more and more in our day and age and our generation. And
100%.
I thought about this a lot. Like, you go and you buy a nice bottle of bourbon, a nice bottle of scotch, a great wine, something. You buy something, have a nice cigar, and the time and effort that goes into making that, the craft, the execution, and that becomes part of the story, and that's what people buy into. But yet, in our day and age, we want to get the results. We want them quickly, and we want them the least barrier of entry, and we want them very cheap. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how to reconcile those two a lot of times, when they don't quite line up. And I think that it's challenging for me. Like, even in my line of work in building brands, I often think about this. We're hit so hard with this idea of, especially in Gen Z right now, where they're just statistically, they're saying it's not as history and legacy is not as important to this next generation. And I've done a good deal of reading on it, but I don't know how to reconcile that in line with the time and the thought and the effort that goes into really telling somebody's story the right way.
Yeah.
And the love that I have personally for branding in that way and being able to share the story, share the experience. When you sit down with this bottle, you have certain feelings that are imparted to you. But if none of that matters, if it's just give me the thing, give it to me quick, entertainment,
yeah.
It's an entertainment brand, right? Then what do you do with that, man?
Well, and I think that's the beauty of whiskey. And what's encouraging about whiskey is it's kind of made a comeback, right, in the last 10 years or something. And I think, obviously we're a little bit older than Gen Z, but our generation, and probably maybe even a little bit younger than us, are starting to, they're going to the liquor stores, or they're going to the bar and they're ordering, a neat glass of whiskey. And so there's kind of a resurgence of it, and maybe these brands have just stayed true. They're just like, we're just going to keep producing, because whiskey is it takes time, right? I mean, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 years. So there's no way around the history of a whiskey brand, and maybe they just ebb and flow with the time. And when it's in, they take advantage, and when it's out, they make mixed drinks at bars. I don't know, but
oh man.
I don't know.
I've heard. I mean, like, statistically too. Another thing to think about is non-alcoholic drinks are hugely on the rise. Right now you can go and you can order mocktails, and there's a non-alcoholic bourbon. I saw it. And I'm hesitant to call it bourbon. That is not bourbon.
Yeah.
But non-alcoholic beers, non-alcoholic wines, which is that grape juice?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's odd to me that it's on such a rise right now, which maybe even more plays into that idea of how important is that legacy. If you're just after I want to keep my health and wellness, which we all do, but I don't really care about the craft. I just want the thing. I want it quick. Then,
yeah. But we see that things have cycles, right? I mean, like bell bottoms come back, or like, I don't know, different plaid is I don't know. This isn't the plaid of like the 70s, but it's.
But it could be.
Yeah. So I think things have cycles, but Willett has done a great job of basically saying, we're going to stick by our history. We're not going to let our name. Clearly, it's goes back to the 1680s or whatever, and they're going to stick with what they do. And I think that's awesome. I think more brands should just be who they are.
Authenticity,
Authenticity, I think, matters, and I think it will matter. I think the time that we're in, the microwave generation, wherever everything's super fast, it's not gonna last because eventually you want substance, and
you would hope.
It's for I think it's the younger generation. Like if everybody 16 to 20 wants everything right now. As soon as you get to like 30, a little bit older, you start slowing down. You appreciate how hard it is to do things. You get a job. You have to go through college. You have to actually earn your way through life. You start to appreciate what it takes to actually do something like this, or build a brand over time. So I don't know.
That's a really good thought.
But I good for you, Willett. Stay in there.
Good for
Don't
you.
change. I don't know. I think it's important to hang on to your history. So much of our history is being thrown away. That's a whole nother discussion right now that we're trying to just culturally, kind of say things didn't happen. But unless you can look back and see where you were, it's hard to make changes. It's hard to navigate the future.
Right.
I mean, there's so much value there. So
yeah,
I don't know.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the realness of this world, the whiskey world. And I think again, Willett captured it really well with this brand, with the shape of the bottle, with the history of the brand, even down to like the metal-esque, like again the pewter whatever metal. I think they've captured it really well, and authenticity is such an important part. So here's a question around that too. I was thinking about this the other day. Someone challenged me. They say, and I've been confronted with this many times, that authenticity is the number one attribute that a brand can have. But I was in a conversation with someone and they made a comment and they said, yeah, but if you have to try to be authentic, aren't you by default not authentic? I don't know. I thought about that a lot.
Well, that's why I think, I don't think they're trying. I mean, maybe the bottle says, we're
I don't think
trying,
they are, no.
But this is what they distill their whiskey in. I mean, they use pot stills.
This exact bottle, yeah.
This is it. Micro, but you know what I mean? It's like they don't use column stills, or they might. I'm not sure actually, but they definitely use pot stills. And pot stills are traditionally a lot more. They take a lot more work. I mean, you have to refill them every time. You have to clean them out. So there's a lot more that goes into using a pot still as opposed to a column still, which essentially can run 24/7. So yeah, I don't know. Every brand, every company has choices to make around that. They went to this bottle, I think in 2008. I think I read, which I think is cool. I think stand out a little bit. Show off. All the bottles for the most part. In some way, they all look the same. So it's hard to stand out in when there's 500 different bottles on the shelf.
Be different.
And I think they did a really good job. So
be different by being yourself.
I know.
Because if you don't have to try to be something that you're not, then you're just naturally going to be different. And that's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wish so many more brands out there just in general would get that. That if you have a great story and you can put some thought into how you position that story in somebody's mind, then you don't have to go and make up some fake lie that was never there to begin with. You're telling a real story, and you're telling it in a way that people can get on board with and emotionally connect with. That's powerful. And I think that's when it matters that it takes so much time, you know, like you're why rush through the process of trying to tell your story?
Right.
Everything else is so fast right now. Slow down. If it's a good story, savor it.
Yeah.
You know?
I was talking with a friend just a couple days ago and about politics, because that's the time of year we're in. And he was just saying, like, nobody will just sit down and just talk. Even if it's a debate, everything is just, you know, you're trying to get out sound bites. You're repeating sound bites, you know, and people aren't thinking through. Anyway, we don't have to get into all that, but we talked for a few hours, and it was really, really enriching for both of us. We both have different political views, but it was a conversation, you know. I wish we had whiskey when we were doing it, but it was.
It would be a better conversation.
I know, should have. But yeah, it's just that, you know, let's take the time, let's enjoy what's in front of us, and I don't know. I think there's a value there that we can all use more of. But all right, on that note,
I want to hear your values.
So I mean, I think. I mean, kind of, you know, they didn't give a whole lot of tasting notes on their website or nosing notes, or, you know,
nosing notes.
It's a very drinkable whiskey. I don't think it does anything particularly wowing. Like, it's not like, oh, that's unique or that's different. I think for me, it's a very straightforward. I get a lot of like brown sugar. That's just kind of like a caramel maybe, but like brown sugar. Do you want me to just go with my score?
Yeah.
Now? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to give it a 3. I would drink it neat, and I could probably drink this daily. So I'm going to give it a 3, neat, and daily drinker.
Wow.
Yeah. To be honest, no,
wow.
I'm staying there.
No, you copied my score.
Did it? Yeah, same.
You partially copied my score because we already recorded this, but no, I gave it the same thing: a 3, a neat, and a daily drinker. There's a lot of great options out there just to drink daily, and there's a lot of great options out there if you just want to try it once in a while. But the thing I like about this is it feels substantial. It feels solid. It feels history. When you're drinking it, it doesn't need to be anything special. It just is what it is. It's like it's confident.
Yeah. And I'll put the price point on. I can't remember what it was, but it was not, you know, crazy hard to get as far as expense. You know, it wasn't like over $100. I think it was well below that, as far as I know. But
and you get this fancy bottle.
You get a fancy bottle, and so.
You know, speaking of Willett's,
I know, we got to get to 100 subscribers as fast as possible.
Guys are making us hold out.
We have a purple top.
Keep coming. We're growing. We are growing, but we have a purple. We have an amazing purple top that was gifted, and we really, really want to open that 100 subscribers.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching our videos, and for those who have subscribed, thank you. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.